William Blake said, "To see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour." My name's Amy Shelton and I'm an artist. I often use quite earthbound materials to try and tell stories about the environment. A lot of my work is about taking different lenses and applying them to the landscapes. In 2016, I started to make some work, for instance, which was about taking a bee's eye view of the British countryside. We've lost a horrendous, 97% of wildflower grasslands. And so this lack of biodiversity has really affected the plants available for bees to forage on. It tells you a lot about the gaps that might be there. And in the case of wildflowers, we do get rid of a lot of wildflowers just because for some reason they're seen as uncouth and wild, but in fact, those flowers are hugely important to sustaining bee colonies, both wild bees with bumblebees and honeybees. So it's taking these different points of view that can really help you gain insight into environmental questions, but also make work that has all of that embedded in it. The Contemporary Art Commission from RAMM, which is the COVID-19 commission, the lockdown coincided with this unfurling of the most sunny spring I think that's ever been recorded by the Met Office. I decided that on my daily walks, collect all of the plants that I found growing. So in a way, continuing with the work that I've always done, which is that recording of locale. My process for making this commission was to capture all of those plants that were growing from the beginning of spring, so March 21st, which coincided with lockdown, right through to the end of British summertime in October. I used the RD&E as the epicenter of the story that I wanted to tell. I wanted to invite the hospital community to contribute a flower, if they wanted to this artwork. And what actually happened is I've got this kind of extraordinary snapshot of all the flowers that people contributed, many of which are dedicated to other people on their teams, and some are from patients as well. And they're a sort of thank you to the NHS and also a very personal sort of snapshot. I began to get sent these extraordinary samples of flowers that people have actually dedicated to their families, to loved ones. It becomes a sort of bouquet of gratitude and thanks. I've got several flowers that people have contributed that are actually from the gardens of people they love, or plants that remind people of somebody that they couldn't see, association with the garden of their mother or their father. And some of these flowers are actually memorials to people that they've lost. Together, they're almost like a sort of bouquet of flowers that are imbued with this sense of gratitude. The Exeter Nightingale Hospital, the lead nurse there, was asked to name the wards, and she named each of the wards after a wildflower. Buttercup ward, daisy ward, clover, poppy and campion. Within the artwork, I've also collected each of those flowers. Florence Nightingale wrote some extraordinary writings on healing and the power of the natural world in recovery. She also was a great flower collector and had a herbarium collection of her own. So I wanted to somehow also use that in the artwork. So that's another quiet story that's embedded in this work. I think this artwork will reflect the rich culture of the plants that are grown around this city and the way perhaps that people came together to help each other and maybe reassess and rethink the importance of being outside and of nature.